People ask me all the time, Eugene, how did you get into professional wrestling? Please subscribe, comment, like, and share these videos. Well, when I was 9 years old, I saw my very first WWF Saturday Night's Main Event. It was October 5th, 1985, and I got to stay up late one Saturday night. I turned on the TV, and there was the greatest thing I've ever seen, Saturday Night's Main Event. I got to see Hulk Hogan. I got to see Nikolai Volkov. I got to see Roddy Piper. I got to see Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Uncle Elmer got married. It was something that I'd never, ever seen before. I was so excited. My dad took me to Market Square Arena, my first WWF live event. Hogan was there. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was there. The Junkyard Dog was there. And I knew right then and there, this is exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a WWE superstar. And the rest of my life, every decision I made was to achieve that goal. Soon after going to my first WWF live event, I was on a little vacation. In Cincinnati, I went to Kings Island. And they had one of those photo booths where they put your picture and they superimpose a magazine cover on it. And I was flipping through them, looking at them, Time Magazine, People Magazine, and then I saw the one I knew I had to have. I put down all the money I had in my pocket, all the money I was supposed to use for food that day so I could be on the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And there I was, tearing my shirt off, exposing my pale, chubby body, my 10-year-old muscles, and I got to put on this leather vest, and I had a spiked collar, and there I was on the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated for the first time, Wrestler of the Year. I was so excited. And then in 2004, I was on the cover of the real Pro Wrestling Illustrated. When Eugene was skyrocketing to fame, Pro Wrestling Illustrated put Eugene on the cover, and I had achieved the boyhood dream, the first of many, to be on the cover of PWI. I remember sometime that next summer, my dad had gone on a business trip. He flew to Tampa. My mom and I went to pick him up at the airport, and I'm waiting there at the Indianapolis airport, people shuffling by. I can see my dad's bald head in the distance, but next to him was this mountain of a man, huge, thick. The guy had calloused elbows, looked like he had 3 elbows on his arm, and I realized that was Dick the Bruiser. Dick the Bruiser was an Indiana legend. I remember wrestling fans that I had, their parents would say, you know, all that wrestling, all that stuff, I don't know if it's real. But you know what? Dick the Bruiser's real. The Sheik stabbed him in the eye with the pencil. That was real. I saw it. Dick the Bruiser had like a mystique, a legend in Indiana. And I got to see him, and I walked by. I don't even think he noticed me, but I definitely noticed him. And that's something I remember. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. My senior year in high school, in 1994, I saw a flyer, Pro Wrestling coming to the Green Tree Skateland in Clarksville, Indiana. And at the bottom, in little print, you can have your own match. I had to reread it. And it said right there, there was a fee, and you could be in a match. You could be a pro wrestler on the card. So I went to the Green Tree Skateland with 2 of my friends, Scott and Russell Schickert, and we all paid $25. The man that was running the show was Yoshi Kwan. He was first known in USWA as Chris Champion, but then he wrestled on WCW as Yoshi Kwan, a martial arts master, and he ran the show at the Green Tree Skateland. And it was me against my friend Scott Schickert and his brother Russell. He was the manager. And I thought, you know, I don't know who's going to win this. Should it be him? Should it be me? So we decided it was going to be a double countout. That way nobody loses. So we got in the match. We had street clothes on. Nobody had any idea what we're doing. We were totally rotten. But when the time came, we rolled to the floor and we were throwing horrible punches. Referees counting 1, 2. Russell Schickert, the manager's grabbing me. His brother's throwing phony punches. 8, 9. Scott Schickert rolls back in the ring, and I got counted out. My first match as a professional wrestler, I got swerved and beaten. I'll get you one day, Scott Schickert. But one of the luckiest things that I had happen to me in my career is when I was a senior in high school at Providence High School in New Albany, Indiana, and I was on the homecoming court. I didn't win homecoming king, although I think I should have. I got screwed on that too. So they would announce everybody in the school assembly as everybody came down to the middle of the basketball court. Nick Dinsmore, he wants to be a WWF professional wrestler when he grows up. Yay! Later on that day, a girl that was 2 grades behind me, her name was April, came up to me. She said, my dad is the Nightmare Danny Davis, and he has a pro wrestling school right here in the area. I was flabbergasted. I didn't think there was any pro wrestling school anywhere near me. And to find out there was one 10 minutes away, that was one of the luckiest breaks I had because the Nightmare Danny Davis became my trainer. So the summer after I graduated high school, 1995, I heard on the radio in Louisville, Kentucky, WQMF is giving away front row tickets to Monday Night Raw coming to the Louisville Gardens. So I got on the phone. I found out how you're going to win them. They were having a hard-boiled egg eating contest in front of the Louisville Gardens at 6 a.m. And they had their local correspondent on the scene, Danger Boy, there, and he would have a cell phone. He would call in the radio live, and they wanted to have a raw egg eating contest for Monday Night Raw, but they figured someone might get sick, so they had hard-boiled eggs. So I got there. My friend Michael Caphammer was with me, and I was the man that won the front row tickets. We had to crack, shell, and eat hard-boiled eggs in 95.7 seconds for 95.7 WQMF. And there was about, not a whole lot of people there, maybe 6 or 10 people in the contest. And the hardest part was actually breaking them and getting them shelled. I think I ate 9 hard-boiled eggs in 95.7 seconds. And I won the tickets to Monday Night Raw. So there I was, sitting front row. That's when they used to have 1 hour or one show live and 2 shows that they taped. So for 3 weeks, me and my friend Michael Caphammer were in the very front row. And I screenshotted it on the network one day, and there we were. The camera was right on us. One of the high points of my life. And I knew, again, that being a WWE, WWF superstar is exactly what I wanted to do. And on May 1st, 1996, I enrolled at the Nightmare Danny Davis School of Professional Wrestling. The building was the Quadrangle in Jeffersonville. It was an old, rundown building, and we were on Watt Street, and it barely fit 60 people in there for the live events, and that's where we first started training. The Nightmare Danny Davis School of Wrestling ended up switching to the other side of the Quadrangle, which had a bigger arena that held about 150 people. This was on Mechanic Street, and if anybody has seen videos of the old Davis Arena, that's where the videos were made, the Mechanic Street Davis Arena, and that's where I had my very first match, September the 1st, 1996, and we'll get into all my training and how I became a WWE superstar in upcoming episodes of Eugene Behind the Scenes. So if you like this video and you want to see more content from Eugene Behind the Scenes, click on one of these videos. They are awesome.